Hello, hello, my magnificent reinventors. Welcome. Today we're going to talk about traumatic brain injuries, anxiety, depression, and getting to the other side. So I just finished a run, and in my world, that's a miracle. And I'll tell you why soon. Dr. Joy here from My Personal Best with Joy. And it's been 5 years this month since I had an accident. I had a slip and fall accident while I was on vacation, and I fell and I hit my head. Yeah. And 5 years ago, I can't believe it's been that long. Time flies and goes slow at the same time. I don't know if you can relate to that. Anyways, so it's a miracle that I was out for a run today, because 5 years ago, when I had the injury, it wasn't pretty. So these days, people say that when I'm doing my videos, I look so confident, I look like I have everything together, and let me tell you, it hasn't always been that way. I'm taking you down to one of my favorite spots by the lake here, so it's a bit rocky. So 5 years ago, when I had the accident, I didn't really know how badly I was hurt. It took some time to figure that out. Of course, I'm a bit stubborn, and I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong. And then one day, I was walking and my legs were buckling underneath of me. And I could hardly hold my head up. And by the time I got home, I just collapsed on the couch and just lied my head on the couch because it was just too heavy to hold. Now, before that injury, I was living a big life. I was training for a marathon. I was working in my practice, and I'd seen over 10,000 women and a few good men, and I've been coaching them with regards to their health and wellness. I was a homeopath, an endurance athlete, and coach. And then when the accident happened, nothing. And when I say nothing, I mean nothing. I was flat out on my back in bed for about 9 months in the dark. So I couldn't take any light, I couldn't take any noise, I couldn't take music, I couldn't look at the TV, I couldn't use the computer, I could hardly walk. And when it really hit me, there were two times when it really hit me. The first time was when I stood at my kitchen counter and I was hungry and I wanted to make something to eat. So I got to the counter and I didn't know what to do, how I was going to make my lunch. It was frightening. And months went on, and before I was able to see anybody. And unfortunately, the medical profession is not that talented when it comes to traumatic brain injuries. So I got some help from some complementary practitioners, and eventually I saw a neurologist, which was when the second realization came about just how severely I had been impacted. And when I saw the neurologist, he was great. He even dimmed the lights in the office. Like, I got that he got how I was. And he was asking me some simple questions, and then he said, so we're going to do this test, and asked me some specific pointed questions. And I couldn't answer. I couldn't remember what he had told me. And then he asked me to draw a clock. And I know what a clock face looks like. And when I went to draw the clock and draw the circle and put the appropriate numbers in the appropriate spots, when I was doing it, I was finished before I had all the numbers on the clock. And that's when I realized, again, just how much this injury had impacted me. So after several months basically lying in the dark, I had blackout curtains just to keep the light out from the windows. I slowly, very slowly, began to recover. And slowly, I began to get better and build my strength. I had great support, thankfully, and I was able to start walking again. I would go in the car, but I would hang curtains all the way around the windows, and I'd lie on the back seat because I hadn't been seeing anybody in my family. I hadn't been talking to anybody, and so slowly and slowly and slowly, I began to get back into the world. And part of the repercussions of a traumatic brain injury is a lot of anxiety. And even going to see my doctor, it was hard to remember anything. I had to write notes to remember to look at my notes. So remembering anything was a huge challenge. And I remember going to my doctor's one day, and I called my daughter in complete anxiety because I had forgotten my list of things that I needed to tell him. I had gotten to the location of where I was supposed to go, but I didn't know where I was supposed to go. And it was just awful. And then from anxiety, I went into depression. So even though I was getting better in my physical abilities, my mental emotional state was very rocky. And I didn't want to do anything. I didn't even though I was more able to be with people, I didn't want to be with people. I didn't want to interact. And I felt hopeless as to what was going to happen to me and how I was going to carry on in my life. So I started to do what I knew to do. So eat well, rest, take care of myself, and eventually, over time, things got better. So I had head pain for the longest time, 2, 3 years, 4 years. I mean, it's mostly gone now, except sometimes the weather makes it bad. And people had great suggestions. You know, I couldn't go in the light. Well, wear a hat. Well, I couldn't wear a hat because any pressure on my head just was awful. Well, if you can't be in the light, put on sunglasses. I couldn't wear sunglasses because the pressure just on my temples was too much. I had a super hypersensitivity on my face, and there was no solution to the light issue. And I don't want to harp on how it was and how awful it was, because my point about this whole video is why I say what I say at the end. So I always say, you can do it. Yes, you can. Anything's possible. And I say that because if I can come from being flat out in a bed in the dark for 9 months, the better part of a year, and now run, then anything is possible. So anything is possible in my world. And I have lots of other examples of that, which I can share at another time. And in this video, the point of this video is to share with you that there is a way. There's a way to get through things, and when things look dark and bleak and with no hope, there's always a way. It's about finding the way. So I found a way, and I slowly recuperated. I had lots of support and lots of help. I had a great craniosacral worker. I had an awesome massage therapist. When the injury first happened, my whole face was black and blue, and she did some awesome massages to help with that. I was really blessed to have great support. And so here I am, 5 years out, and I want to say that even though it was tough, and even though it looked bleak, and I didn't know how things were going to turn out, how things were going to evolve, and it seemed lots of times like it wasn't ever going to get better, it does. And people told me, and it was hard to believe, people told me that you'll get better, it'll be better, it'll be better. And when you're in it, it just seems so awful, and it seems so draining, and it just seems so, what's the point? And so here I am, 5 years out, running, hallelujah for that. And that's why I'm doing these videos, because really when I say I'm here for you, I want to be here for you and help you, because when in April I decided that it was time to really live again. And so I got a coach, and I worked on this app on my phone. It's Harder, HRDR, and it's a great app for calisthenics, because I knew that I needed to rebuild my body after, you know, not doing much for the better part of 5 years. Things happen that don't feel so great. So I was pretty out of shape. I gained a lot of weight. I was really unrecognizable to myself. And so I got a coach. And I got a coach for my business because I wanted to get back out there and help people as I used to do. So here I am, I'm back. So my next challenge, and you're going to see more videos about that, is, as I said, I started in April, and it's 6 months to sexy at 60. So in October, for my birthday, I'm going to run a marathon, because when this brain injury happened, I was actually training for a marathon, which never happened. I've run several, but I'm going to run one in October this year for my birthday, and as a triumphant, and get myself into great shape. So watch for other videos like that. Those will be soon to come. So thank you very much for watching, and yes, I'm here for you, and yes, you can do it. Anything's possible. So before I go, I just want to give you a hug. I love hugs, and if I was there with you, I would give you a hug. So until next time, have a magnificent week. Dr. Joy out.